for joining us on Arc Salt Lake. I'm Jamie McGriff. It's Wednesday, February 11th, and tonight the jury has been chosen for the murder trial of Kouri Richins. There was also a significant apartment fire that happened in downtown Salt Lake. But we're going to turn things over to talk about what's happening with the weather. That's what's making headlines. Meteorologist Sean Kelly has our first alert forecast, and boy, is he happy to see the rain and the snow. All of it is important because we do need the moisture.
Yeah, we sure do. And just in the nick of time, we are dealing with some changes out there for the second half of winter. Got a lot of catching up to do here after dealing with just the lack of snow. But here we are finally. We've got winter weather advisories up for our mountains. This will continue through the day tomorrow. I've already picked up 6 to 8 inches of snow. And look at this. We've got a batch of some really heavy showers moving in. In fact, it will be likely raining right now in downtown Salt Lake City. If it's not yet, in about 1 minute or so, it will be. We've got some storms out there as well. So some thunderstorms, heavy snow up into the mountains, isolated showers down in the Provo area, 48 degrees. It's been mild today. We were well into the 50s. We're going to cool things down overnight a little bit here with on and off showers and maybe even a few rumbles of thunder or two as well. So we've got kind of the second half of the storm through the next 24 hours or so, and then we can kind of wrap this thing up and we get ready for a nice weekend ahead, but some changes into next week. We'll talk about that coming up in my first alert weather forecast.
After a quick 2 days, the jury has been chosen for the murder trial of Kouri Richins. The judge and attorneys had originally set aside 5 days for jury selection, but it moved much quicker than expected. Brian Schnee spent the last couple of days watching the process play out in Park City.
It only took a day and a half of jury selection for the jury to be seated in the Kouri Richins murder case. The trial coming up on the 23rd of February, and here on the 11th of February, the 12-person jury has been chosen. It'll be 8 primaries and 4 alternates. The discussion, however, Wednesday morning wasn't all quick and easy. There was a Batson challenge on behalf of the defense. They did not like one of the strikes from the prosecution, so that had some dialogue that went back and forth. Ultimately, the judge hearing the reasoning for the strike, which is not typically customary, but it was so that an appeal could not take place in the appellate court. So we do have the jury selection that is now finished, but there are other things and other pieces to this case that still need to be sorted out. There's a motion on the table, for example, from the prosecution right now about one of the experts that would be testifying on behalf of the defense. That will be heard in a hearing at 1 o'clock on Friday. We do know that that is an in-person hearing. Kouri Richins will again be present. Kouri was in the courtroom Wednesday and the first full day of jury selection, so 2 days in a row, and was actively engaged in those discussions, left the room with her defense team on Wednesday to actually go over some of those pieces of the jury, who they wanted to keep, who they wanted to get rid of, to narrow that down from 24 prospective jurors to the 12-person jury. So Kouri Richins was in the courtroom the last day and a half or so, heavily involved in this process with the members of her defense team. Again, the jury selection process was slated for nearly 5 days over the course of about a week and a half. We did not need that. It was finished in a day and a half. The trial will not change. It will still start as scheduled. It'll run from 8:30 to roughly 5 o'clock beginning on February 23rd. Reporting in Summit County, I'm Brian Schnee.
And with the jury now selected, attention is turning to safety and security as the court prepares for the start of the trial. Liv Kelleher reports that the head of court security is preparing for a crowd during the trial.
After 3 years of anticipation and national attention, the court says keeping this trial safe and fair is now their top priority.
So we want to have as little disruption as possible to the staff, to the jury, to the participants involved in the trial, the defense, and the state.
He says high-profile cases bring a unique set of challenges.
We still have a fraction of people who want to come to one of these high-profile events because they know there are going to be a lot of cameras and people watching to do this.
The judge will publish a decorum order laying out the rules for the trial, including how many viewers each side can bring, what items are allowed in the courtroom, rules on electronics, and possible restrictions on media access.
There will be no warnings. If anybody violates any of those orders, we will permanently remove them from the court. for the duration of this trial.
Palmer says a key focus is protecting jurors and witnesses from outside pressure or interference.
So we want to make sure that we're monitoring any inappropriate communications, any attempts to influence a jury, have contact with, so that way we're not causing, in a worst case scenario, some kind of security incident, or maybe a mistrial.
Jury consultant Melinda Ruth says these proceedings can take a toll on jurors.
They understand that these decisions being made impact real human beings on a visceral level.
Jurors asked to do a very, very hard thing, and that is to weigh all the facts and listen to the rules of the judge.
Keeping them safe, he says, is central to the integrity of the trial.
And if there's any kind of inappropriate communication or attempts to contact a juror, our bailiffs will know about it, and they'll forward that to the investigative side of the Summit County Sheriff's Department.
Palmer says they're also taking lessons from another high-profile case that happened 2 years ago here in Summit County. That was the Gwyneth Paltrow civil case. He says that's helping them prepare for the scale and media attention they are expecting. He says he doesn't quite know how many additional officers will be here yet, but it will be, quote, more than they need. Reporting in Park City, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
And we'll be there covering the murder trial when it gets underway in a little more than a week. In the meantime, you can find our reporting on every step of this case on KUTV.com and exclusive interviews on our KUTV YouTube page. People are back in their homes after a fire broke out at this high-rise condo, and it was in Salt Lake City. The fire department says that the fire broke out inside a condo on the 11th floor. No one was inside that unit when fire officials arrived. There were no reported injuries. 2 News' Leslie Duarte spoke with a fire captain and a couple of residents who evacuated the building.
The apartment was fully involved. The majority of the apartment was on fire. There was a heavy fire load in the area, so it was actually a really good situation. The building happened to vent out of the balcony right behind us. When we showed up, you could see considerable smoke and flames there. And that has to do with because that's a glass exterior, and that glass did break and it ventilated out rather than going back into the apartment, which can cause further problems for the people that need to evacuate. We did evacuate the building from floor 9 up. Everything from floor 9 up was evacuated. We did not have any injuries reported, either firefighters or civilians. The floors below were allowed to stay in place. We've reached out to American Red Cross. They help us with displaced residents to find them places to live while their apartment is rebuilt and such. The occupants of the building of this fire room were not on scene at the time of the fire, but since have been located and we are in communication with them.
The moment that you heard there was a fire in your building and you're in a multi-story building, what was the worst case scenario for you?
Well, I live on the top floor and my wife has some disability issues, so the worst floor was, can we get out? Now, we've worked on that. This building has done practices, so people knew what to do, but we've never had, for years, anything actual. So people helped each other. In fact, when I was going downstairs, several people were going up because they knew people up on higher floors who might need help coming down. So it went very, very well, and we're very, very happy about that.
And you know, as devastating it is to see that right there, when you saw the damage done, was there a sense of relief knowing that it was only contained to that and that the worst was avoided?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been talking with a number of people. We think about what could have happened. People reacted quickly. They made good decisions. We're really grateful to them, and we owe them a great gratitude of thanks.
So I hear that you played a big role in helping evacuate some of your friends.
I don't know that it was a big role, but myself, along with another individual, Jeff Van Slyke, we entered into the stairwells, and then I said, I've got to go up and check on people. I was on the 2nd floor, and we went up to the 10th floor and then started knocking on doors and checking for people to get them out of the building. And there were 2 individuals we knew were in wheelchairs that we weren't able to access, but we were able to find out that they could shelter in place, which was very good news.
And Gordon, how many people were you able to evacuate?
We actually found most of the units had in fact been emptied, which was of course huge for us because we knew that the stairwell was already full of individuals, people that had injuries who were coming down with crutches and walkers. So in terms of getting people out, we didn't have to get many out at all. It was mostly just verifying that they were all out of the building.
Despite no injuries reported, the American Red Cross says 16 residents are impacted after fire damage to the building. Greater Salt Lake Chapter Red Cross responders say that they are on standby, ready to help. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, how the care team at Hogle Zoo helped welcome a baby giraffe. Baby Hal is the newest giraffe member at the Hogle Zoo. And behind these tender moments that you see here really is a story of first-time motherhood, a brief scare, and round-the-clock care. Kristen Kinney checks in on Hal and his mama in today's Eye on Utah.
Look who it is. It's baby Hal, 10 days old, born 5'8". To put that into perspective, I'm 5'4".
He's the newest member of the Hogle Zoo family. and he's already melting hearts online. But his first few hours outside of his mother's belly were scary.
He did have some struggles being born.
His mom, Minka, a first-time mother, handled labor calmly.
She did a really good job during labor, kind of staying calm, pushing when she needed to.
But within hours of his birth, the animal care team noticed something wasn't right.
He actually was having some trouble standing.
For giraffe babies, standing is survival.
Giraffe calves can normally stand within like an hour or two, and we were kind of getting beyond that.
The giraffe barn quickly turned into a neonatal unit with 24-hour watch and all hands on deck.
He had actually gotten himself a little bit contorted as he was trying, and so Minka was so wonderful. We were able to shift her away, go in, assist the calf, untangle him. And then when he still needed a little trouble, we were able to go back in and assist him with standing.
Once Hal was finally standing, the work didn't stop. Just like with any newborn, the first few days are all about monitoring health.
He's looking at his shadow. Care for Minka and the baby includes 20 hours. Our camera reviews for overnight.
I think people can relate to that, having a baby monitor.
A baby monitor, yes. We were always here if they needed anything.
10 days later, mom and baby are healthy.
The baby goes to her for nursing. Minka's a very attentive mom. She does a lot of grooming and check-ins.
And there's one simple sign the care team looks for.
They get a little milk foam on their lips, a little milk mustache.
Just like in human families, support made all the difference.
Just like with human mothers, you know, it's great if you have a tribe of people that can step in.
You need a village.
You need a village. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Giraffe are no different.
Right now, baby Hal is learning his new surroundings. But his story is a part of something bigger.
Giraffe are going through what is called a silent extinction.
In part 2 of this story, why breeding programs like this are critical to saving giraffes. Eye on Utah, Friday morning at 6:45. Kristen Kenny, KUTV 2 News.
Baby Hal is going to experience its first winter, that's for sure. Meteorologist Sean Kelly is joining us now with that first alert forecast. I don't know how he would adjust to the snow.
Right, yeah, well, you know, luckily it is way up in the mountains here that we're dealing with the snow. Not any valley snow, unfortunately, here. It's just too mild of a storm. Next week, though, it's looking a little bit more promising. Some pretty decent snowfall totals so far for our ski resorts. 5 to 9 inches. Snowbird Brighton in the lead right now, though I think Deer Valley is adding up a little bit more than a half a foot. So things are getting going pretty nicely and starting to see some rain now here in the Salt Lake City Valley. We're into the 40s right now with those showers moving in. A big difference out there from 24 hours ago. We're much milder here. 4 to 14 degrees warmer from 24 hours ago. Look at this warm air surging into the Delta area, still into the mid 50s, 46 in Provo, 52 in Milford, 50 in Cedar City, and still a bit gusty down towards the south and west in the Cedar City, Milford area. We're seeing some 25-mile-per-hour winds at times. Still dealing with the plume and moisture down towards the south. And then the main part of the storm is now moving just off the coast of California, slow moving. This is actually going to be sliding down towards the south and east. So we're still about 24 hours away from dealing with the last of this. So we still have a little bit to get through here. And you can see we've got some scattered showers down towards the south and west into the Kanab area. Some light rain into Cedar City and some scattered showers across south central Utah. We've got a thunderstorm in the Draper area, so some heavy rain down across the southern end of the Wasatch Front into Provo as well, seeing some light showers into Nephi, and then up into the mountains we're still dealing with some steady snow. In fact, it could get even heavier as we head closer towards midnight, 1 a.m. tonight. Then perhaps a little bit of lull in the activity here by tomorrow morning's commute up and down the I-15 corridor. And then we get ready for another round tomorrow evening. It's what some of the models here are showing, that it might ramp back up tomorrow evening for much of the area. So I think those winter weather advisories will likely get extended as we continue to see the main part of the storm shift down towards the south and east. By Friday morning, it's still impacting south central and southeastern portions of the state before it's all said and done by Friday afternoon. So still got a little bit of ways to go with the storm. We're down into the 30s as we head into the overnight. Still quite mild and still quite mild tomorrow with temperatures here into the lower 50s for highs. St. George, we've got temperatures here into the 60s. As we head through the end of the week, we'll see some lingering showers into Friday. Heading into the weekend for Valentine's Day, still plenty warm. And then another storm moves in by President's Day, so we'll have to watch out for that unsettled weather into next week. Kind of the same deal across the Wasatch Front. We're still unseasonably mild here all the way through the weekend. In fact, for Sunday, it is going to be very warm. But we'll be watching out for a President's Day storm that arrives Monday evening into the overnight. Chilly weather, and perhaps could we finally maybe see our first snow in the valleys of the season? It's possible. We'll be tracking it into next week.
The Super Bowl of Caring. Brought to you by America First Credit Union, Smith's, Check City, Ford, Balance of Nature, and Rocky Mountain Power.
You can help end child hunger in Utah with our Super Bowl of Caring. Scan the QR code on your screen. You can go to KUTV.com/donate for more information on how to donate. And you can also remember that $10 can help feed a child for a weekend. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, a Bravenel Hall joins the National Register of Historic Places. What a violinist has to say about the importance of preserving art.
2 News wants to see how you celebrate 250 years of amazing America. Scan the QR code or go to KUTV.com/chime in. Click Submit Content and pick Amazing America 250 from the drop-down. Whether it's your favorite monument, your favorite park, around the state, or around the country, we want to see and share whatever makes you proud to be American. Thank you for being a part of 2 News and Amazing America 250.
Maurice Abravanel Hall is the newest addition to the National Register of Historic Places. A formal plaque unveiling ceremony that was held this morning with Utah Symphony and Salt Lake County leaders.
That's right. The concert venue, which opened in 1979, is said to be an architectural, acoustic, and artistic icon in the heart of Salt Lake City.
Today ensures that Abravanel Hall will continue to be a beacon for the arts, one that welcomes everyone in our community from every background and from every walk of life. A place where we can gather, listen, and feel connected through the best of what it means to be human.
As renovations to the Salt Palace and surrounding spaces move forward, the county has prioritized conservation of the hall with the backing of the house modernization to improve experiences for performers. Utah Valley University is starting a new partnership to expand health care for their dance students. It's a deal that will give current dance program students access to rehabilitative physical therapy. Doctors will also help them create plans for preventative care.
UVU says they are now one of the only schools in the country to provide this type of specialized care to their dance students.
Dance is big in Utah.